Hello, friends. Welcome to Nirpa's talk show today as well. I have a very special guest today, Pauli Sosa. She is based out of Argentina, holds almost 10 years of tech industry experience in New Zealand and abroad. She is currently working as a startup advisor in Auckland City Council, which is very, very crucial from business point of view, from entrepreneur point of view, and making the New Zealand one of the leading industry uh, players and making a better place to live in all in all. See, I have a very personal connection with Pauli, who helped not only me as a job seeker, but helped many pupils and empowering the society at a large. I'm very excited to welcome Pauli in my talk show. Thank you, Pauli, for joining.
Thank you so much for having him. I'm super excited to have this chat with you today.
Thank you. Yeah, Pauli, I think we have spoken offline a couple of times, right? It was my pleasure connecting with you earlier as well. But today in this particular talk show, let us share some of your experience from job seekers' point of view, because I personally also seen that many pupils were quite confused about job seeking strategy in general. So, but that is the reasons I'm thinking you are the right person to take some insights and help our job seekers. So, with this background, Pauli, do you want to share some background, something about yourselves?
Yes, of course. So I'm a PR by degree. I graduated in Argentina in the National University, I guess. And I moved to New Zealand in 2015. And I was super excited to start all over in a new country. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But what I found is that all my experience in my curriculum back at home, it wasn't worthless, but it was a little bit about that. So it was a little bit tricky finding a job. These days, I'm working with Startup Aotearoa, which is a program funded by Callahan Innovation, and we're trying to figure out how can we help entrepreneurs to navigate the tech ecosystem faster and more efficiently. And also, which was when I met you, we founded Migrants in Tech, which is a community to help people who's coming to Auckland, New Zealand, to understand a little bit about the culture, what's New Zealand about, and actually how can you find a job.
Yeah, thank you so much for your introduction. Yeah, definitely. So, of course, Auckland startups and New Zealand startup is booming. I see the amount of the scalability, the infrastructure that any of these startup are thinking about. New Zealand, whatever New Zealand thinks, they are thinking in a global level. That is what my little experience when I look at some of the startup in New Zealand. So yeah, good point. But as we'll talk about the startup definitely in this conversation. But since it is more targeting in the job seekers, do you want to share your personal story from job seekers' point of view? Basically, how did you get your first jobs in New Zealand?
So I came to New Zealand with my working holiday visa. I guess with as Argentinians, we have that little lag that we have a few visas available for us every year. And again, I was doing okay in Argentina. I was working with my local government. I was running my own event company. I was working with entrepreneurs as well. And how can we help them? And then I moved to New Zealand thinking the two things, thinking I knew English, which when I moved to New Zealand and spoke after a few Kiwis, I figured out, nope, I need to understand that better. And the second one was that although my CV was quite good, I didn't have any local experience. So that was one of the biggest triggers, I guess, for me to figure out, okay, who am I and what do I want to do here in New Zealand? I had lucky enough that I could volunteer in a few events and things and topics that I'm passionate about, like, again, entrepreneurship, technology, innovation, social media, things that I'm passionate about, and that led me to actually grow my network. Personally, it took me about 3 years to find my perfect job. Meanwhile, I could work in hospitality as a receptionist and things that kind of felt like a starting all over again my career when in Argentina already had that, been through that. So it was a little bit hard from the very beginning to start all over again. But I guess that if it's an advice that I could give to someone on that, it's just understanding the culture of the country you're going to first. I think that if someone told me a little bit about that beforehand, that would be my life easier. Um, that that's one of the biggest topics, I guess, we're talking with migrants in tech is understanding the culture, understanding the way of doing things. How do you craft a CV? And there's a lot of free resources available online. So how can we actually make the most of that? But I guess the challenge as well in each country is going to be different. So how do you find those resources, and how do you actually find those? So it's just all about community and a little bit of resilience and just putting yourself out there. We talk a little about that, which is sometimes it could be scary because you don't know where to start. And it's just, yeah, Googling a little bit, finding peer-to-peer support, those Facebook groups where people can find, can actually help you and give you some advice. Personally, that's what it actually helped me, finding through people I knew or maybe Facebook groups, where could I go volunteer to gain local experience? That's pretty much one of the biggest things, I guess, that helped me to be where I am today.
Yeah, yeah. Then regarding the local experience part, right? Why do you think that local experience is really required? What is your thought on that?
I think, especially here in New Zealand, it's really hard to trust that you're gonna not. It's not about your capability. It's not personal. That's the thing first. It's not personal. It's just that sometimes when there's a few things here in New Zealand, like for example, confrontation. People don't confront you here, and you need to find a better way and polite to say things. And for me as Argentinian, if I don't go and fight against people, I won't get any results. So by default, I will go to firefight. And here in New Zealand doesn't work that way. Everyone will be super kind, super polite, also with a smile. So I had to learn how to soft my Argentinian side, if that makes sense. So as to pretty much to make myself more clear about that. I usually speak really, really fast as well. So understanding that I need to pace a little bit about that and just try making sure that everyone is getting what I want to say. Um, so there's small things about that actually once you have that first job experience is going to change everything. But again, just getting that first job experience, I think it's a little bit about the trust and maybe not understanding how things are here doing sorry how things work here is the biggest one. So once you have that fair experience, you have a Kiwi boss or you work with Kiwi peers, that's when actually gives you the confidence, like I can hire you now because you have that experience.
Yeah, it makes sense. Even I have similar thought. Basically, that local experience will help us to understand the people, cultural aspects, the mindset aspects, the attitude part. We also, I'm from India, and my whole experience is from India, right? So we are also very fast. We want everything to be delivered quickly, but and then we are don't mind to little bit of aggressive, and then again pull down and so on and so forth, right? But yeah, I agree with you. That is my experience as well.
And also
Yeah,
the other thing to have in mind is that after COVID, I don't know, before COVID, or at least with the Latinos people I talk to, a lot of people think that you're landing in the country and the recruiters will chase you with a job. That's not realistic, not here in New Zealand, not even
true, true.
anywhere in the world. And I think the other reality is that before COVID, everything was easier. Now because of the financial recession, sorry, all around the world and all the things that is happening, a lot of people has been let go, and finding a job is not as easy as it was 3 4 years ago. So
Yeah,
if you're going to move to a new country, I guess this is the other thing that we're learning along the way. If you're going to move to a new country, it's better to do those research beforehand. If you're lucky enough to have a work visa and everything, that's amazing. But if not, research as much as you can, because things are different than a few years ago. And for us, so I came with my now husband, and we both came with a working holiday visa. He's a software developer, and he got a job quite briefly fast. It took him about 5 months, but these days, as you might have the same experience, it's taking way longer. So I'm sure this is going to change in the next few months, but for now, is do as much research as you can before moving to a new country, and understanding those little things better beforehand will be really, really helpful.
Yeah, you are saying basically uh, job market is challenge, and then there are a lot of other issues in terms of finding the job, uh, and then you are suggesting to prepare in advance before you decide to migrate. That is what you mean, right? Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then next, probably if you can go to the next point, right? Probably, what are the challenges that you face in your experience to get the job, or even after getting the jobs, right? Do you want to share those, please, for my audience?
Yes, your curriculums, your CV is the most important, is your presentation letter. So the more, so each country has a different way of crafting your own curriculum. So here in New Zealand is different than Argentina. So learning how to, so here in New Zealand is about putting your experience, but not only that, but how you being a part of the team improved the entire business or the team or everything, that all the achievements you have. So it's more about talking about that. And sometimes it's really hard because at the same time it'll ask you not to have a 6-page long CV, but at the same time it's like, how can I prove you all the amazing things I've been doing? So it's
Yeah,
finding that balance. There's a few recruiters available online that can help you with that. And also, yeah, again, volunteering if you have, or any internships that you can find to gain you to prove the experience. And then if being specific or being specific on your skills and the talent you have. So the more you can talk about that, the easier we'll get. And the other one that is a little bit more social, I guess, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the one, at least here in New Zealand, is one of the most powerful tools we can have. So the more active you are about it, the more you talk about the topics you're interested in, the algorithm will show you to people that can relate with those contents. And here in New
yeah,
Zealand, we talked a lot about the 2 degrees of separation. So the more people you meet, the more people you talk to, the better, because that will help improve your networking, and as well start talking about yourself, and that will lead you to opportunities. So that's the biggest thing, I guess. CV,
yeah,
LinkedIn, and networking.
yeah. Probably out of these three, probably my experience, of course, it vary from individual to individual. The networking, the people part is very important. Why? At the end of the day, we are coming from abroad. We don't have any personal connection. We lost our social relationship and so on. And if you don't start liking the people around, you will not liking the place at all.
Yep.
In my case, if I would not have been connected with that your migrant tech community and some of the events, and especially the library, Auckland Library, where I think I was the most obedient reader and most sincere person to every day from 9 to 5 till I get my first job I visited. And you will be glad to know, when I got my first job, they were so happy because they have seen my effort, and they took me to their tea personal cabin and offered me tea and given me best wishes and sent them. And still I'm in touch with them. Why
Yeah.
I'm sharing this? Because of those people I'm there. So networking will help us to connect with the people, connect a sense of belongingness and comfortness to that particular place. It hardly matter whatever the development, big uh, historical or tourism activities happening around, until if there is no sense of connect with the people who where I'm going to work, isn't it? So that networking, of course, apart from these two things, is the starting for any job seeker. Don't you think so?
Yeah, 100% agree. Is about that networking piece and how to network and how to, I guess the challenge is always how do you make sure that it's not a one-off. So if you're meeting someone in an event or whatever, how do you make sure it's not just a one-off conversation? How can you make it a follow-up, or like yourself and starting talking about these topics and sharing with everyone else, sharing your learnings? So I think there's something, an extra component that sometimes it's not that easy, because putting yourself out there can be scary, but once you do it is when you start seeing all these amazing things and people cheering for you when you get that, finally, that job opportunity. It feels so
Yeah,
good. It feels like a little bit like home, and it's finally part of it. And yeah, it's a lot around that.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right. The personal story, creating resumes and customizing and connecting with the recruiter is the starting point. Even I have similar thought. But one more additional point, of course, that what I feel, and you can guide me. Basically, the we as a job seekers start applying multiple roles because we get frustrated. I think that we should avoid, and we should specify based on our skills, experience, a particular role that we are looking for, and we should focus on that particular role for consistently for a couple of months. That is one aspect, and continuously up improving the skills that required to get that in first role. I think that will be the one of the my learnings. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. As the more like in and usually as also as well in New Zealand, it's such a small country. It's a beautiful country, but
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
it's a small country. So if you're applying for every single role as well, it's like it's kind of you might ended up applying for 2 or 3 roles at the same company. You never know. So it's like, yeah, it's just finding that niche.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So finding that niche, that the skill, so just that's why if you know very well your skills and your passions and stuff like that, make sure you actually find those roles that suit to you. Is sometimes
Exactly.
less is more. So instead of applying to 10 roles, maybe apply to 4, and make sure that when you apply to those 4 roles, your CV is everything they want to. So that you actually read the job description and everything that they're asking for, and how can you prove that you're good for the role. I guess that's pretty much yeah, that's the biggest thing you can do.
Yeah. And probably I think you and me have done the same plan. What my experience also, we should have short-term and long-term goal because New Zealand is, or of course any country, the the expense part, our billing part is also concerned, isn't it? So we should engage any role, whatever we get initially as a short-term goal to survive ourselves, and then long-term goal as per the future experience and all. We should have a long-term goal, and then work towards that long-term goal, focusing the roles and rather than multiple roles. What do you think so about
Yeah,
this?
no,
We
100%.
should have that.
100%. And I believe that every role will teach you something and some skills for future things. I don't know.
Exactly.
I here in New Zealand, I had to start it over again. So I started working in a school and as a receptionist. And then from that, I ended up managing a group of interns that we had as well. They're working for us that will let me to have some skills as a kind of like a boss, I guess, here in New Zealand, and how do you manage that, and that would help me in my future role as well, and how to communicate with that. So every role, as little as you think it might be, it would teach you things and skills that will help you to the next job. So it's just
Yeah.
thinking as a ladder, I guess. And you start with really slow and then you go climbing up to whatever you want to achieve. I guess also if you have some role models in the industry you want to achieve someday, just starting figuring out what kind of events these people are going to network, or don't stalk them. That might be scary, but it's just figuring out where they go to, who they talk to, how they talk, and just trying to be inspired by the way they develop themselves in the industry, and that can help you a little bit too.
Yeah. No, very true. Very true. I think other aspects in the job seekers is primarily, as I rightly said, of course, when we start getting a job or start engaging in any kind of activity and we start getting money and we start connecting people, that itself will give a lot of confidence rather than staying in home alone and searching for the job. Don't you think so?
Yeah, 100%. Once you have the first income and stuff like that, it definitely help you. It's like a little win situation inside. Yeah,
Exactly.
I would
And I'll
definitely give you
share
a
one,
confidence.
yeah, and I'll share one, basically, not the story, of course, but some message from one of the librarian from Auckland librarian. He's around 20 years experience probably. And I'll not forget that message, okay? And I'll share here now. He told me as a job seeker, when you start coming as a job seekers, uh, you will be part of a probably 100,000 pool of 100,000 people, isn't it? It's a hypothetical example. But when you, if you don't have job, you are a part of 100,000 people. But when you get a job and you will eventually come back with a narrow, only just a 25,000 people. So getting a job and being part of a smaller job seekers pool is very important, because when you are a part of that small group, it is very easy to reach out to that that the target goal within that smaller group, rather than being a jobless and being part of bigger 100,000 pupils or bigger people who is everybody is struggling. So engaging in a job is very important. That is what he says.
Yeah, no, yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, as well, if you have the opportunity. So for me, volunteering again, I'm really pro volunteer because it's when you meet people, you put your skills, you put your you work with your skills and you can prove what you are at. Personally, because I couldn't find a job that was passionate enough, I was like, I'm gonna build it. And what I started doing is organizing my own events, and by that I used to host I host it's called move talks, so we usually have 7 talks of 7 minutes each, and this is a brand that I used to have back home, and I know I'm good at events, so I invested some money in trying to make that happen to food and drinks. Through networking and volunteering, I met some people that could be the speakers. They said yes because they wanted to help me. And after the first event that I put money on it, I have some people attending that actually they say, I want to help you to make this happen. Here's some money, the sponsorship to make more happen. And that started growing, and we've been around for about 7 years. And that led me to meet so many amazing people that actually the job I have today, I wasn't looking for a job. It was just I was just organizing an event that day, one night at that venue at Great Auckland, which is in Wynyard Quarter in CBT, in Auckland CBT. I was organizing an event that night, and I was talking with the manager back then, and I told her that I was looking that I was leaving my current job because it wasn't my thing, and she said you should be working here, and she kind of
Oh,
dragged me in because she was like, I know you from your events. I know you're good at it. I know you love community. We're looking for a community manager. And the next week I was working there. But again, it wasn't easy. It took me 3 years to get that point and to actually prove everyone that I was good at. I know this not, it might sound easier than it was. I was a lot of stress, a lot of tears, of course, frustration, but once I got it, I remember crying of happiness back going back home. Like someone saw that opportunity in me, and a lot of people was cheering me and me happy for me, and I was feeling, yeah, okay, New Zealand can be home, and I really hope that everyone can. I really hope that I've really encouraged people. If you can do it, just do it. I mean, if I could do it, I think anyone can do it too.
exactly. If we can consistently focus and consistently work into a particular goal, I think sooner or later everybody will get it. And then hearing your story, I'm feeling, you know what, truly, along with my software engineer, I should also do some community building activities to get the job faster.
Community is everything. It's when I mean, that's what I love community building so much. When you bring people together and it's people. So again, I love events, and through Move Talks, I could talk about themes that I'm passionate about: community building, women in tech, in social enterprises, and different every failures. There's another big one as well. So because I could talk about those topics that like you said at the very beginning, because I narrowed down what I'm passionate about, that led me to meet the right people, and the right people led me to my job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you should come also in India and spend some time because true, because of course I'm getting confused sometime how our because some of the community activities, right, in the village level especially, is very prominent in India. When I was here in during COVID, right, we have done to along with the friends almost three social event. One is women empowerments, four women uh, who has done a tremendous good job in spite of their personal challenges, right? We have recognized them publicly in front of 1,000 people. And post that, we have recognized around 67 students after completing their schools. And why I'm sharing this? Because unless the people around does not support us, we cannot do. So that kind of social mindset is always there in India. But the what I have seen in Auckland, the tech event, bringing all the engineers and bringing something good for the country in the technology levels, that kind of uh, initiatives, unfortunately I'm not able to see. Probably something is happening around which I have missed it. But social events, connecting with people, social activity is very prominent in India. Just for my audience and for yourself, I'm just sharing about this as well.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage you if you can build those community. It doesn't have to be a big event. Just if you have 5, 10 people who's passionate about the same topics as you, I think you should do it because that will lead you to, again, to meet you and connect and talk about those topics. Not only you talk about those topics that you're passionate about, which is always fun, but to actually meet more people, and that's when you expand your networking, and that's when more opportunities will come. So yeah, if you can do it, do it. Sometimes you don't even need
But
money for
that
that.
is true.
You can just set up a place to go for a coffee, or maybe just have a pizza or whatever you like about food. You just get the restaurant and that's it. You don't even have to pay for it.
Yeah, but one thing I have realized, these are the things we have to make a sustainable, isn't it? For example, we have organized an event because some of our colleagues who are there who is financially capable, we have some intellectual ability and had some connects and so on. But how can we make it sustainable for a long time? Even your and my absence in the Auckland or New Zealand, somebody can carry on this with more energy and more enthusiasm.
I think because it's community driven, I think if I don't want to do it anymore, so someone can take that over and just make it easy. And if you have some companies that are actually sponsoring from now, there's a lot of people who wants to give back. So if you have already some, it could be family or friends that have some money they can help you with that to start with. Then the companies will see the value, especially engineers, because if you so I know that for migrants in tech, for example, a lot of recruiters and IT companies will be keen on sponsoring. We're trying not to just because we want to make it open to everyone. And we're lucky enough that we have that money from council at the moment. But I guess just trying to figure out who is a good fit for your events. And for us, for Move Talks, for example, we have sponsors that align with our values, and we tell them this is not a sales space, as you're supporting this because it's community and you want to help us to give back. Which is another hard conversation to have another day if you want to lead in with sponsors. But I guess yeah, just you can start small and dream big, and then if you start small, that will grow organically, and that's pretty much when the success comes after.
Yeah, I agree. No, there is a genuine value, undoubtedly, on this kind of event, right? I have connected in fractures some of the events, right? And people are uh, getting the opportunity to connect. People are getting the opportunity to publish their books, and people are getting the opportunity to share their different opinion on the public policies and creating the awareness and so on and so forth. It's undoubtedly good.
Yeah, yeah, you can learn about everything, and every topic could be good. Could be crafting, could be software development, could be AI, could be anything you want, any topic that actually you're passionate about, and will bring people together.
Yeah. Probably coming back to our job seekers content, right? I will be coming closer to our discussions. Uh, I'll not take your much valuable time further. Probably the soft skills and hard skills, right? Sometimes a lot of discussion going around the soft skills because of the COVID. A lot of work from home has been growing, and connecting and collaborating peoples are becoming more and more prominent. And of course, hard skill is the key because that is the bread and butter. Because with that hard skill, you will able to deliver the job that has been asked for, isn't it? But what is your opinion on the soft skill part? Why soft skill is so important today, or it is just a hype, not required?
I think the biggest one that I it was one of my values, and is empathy, just trying to understand what's happening. That's that's one of the ones. I don't know how do you work on how do you teach that, but just pretty much empathy is going to be really worth because really worth really valuable because you can understand what your coworkers are going through, what you're going through, and that'll help you to have a better synergy around the team. And then I guess as people mostly, if you're software, I guess sometimes we're introverts and people is not your thing, but just trying to understand and how can you put yourself in the other person's shoes. That's one thing. That's the other thing. Um, because sometimes I don't know, I'm an overthinker, and if someone gave me a bad response because they have a bad day, I will overthink all situations and their goes because it's everything in my own imagination, and it was just a bad day from someone else. So just trying to not to take things personal. That's the other one. especially in workplaces. You never know what the other person is going through, what's happening, and it might be just it might be just a misunderstanding. Soft skills are really important as hard skills, because you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you're a bad person, sorry, you wouldn't get hired anyway. So yeah, just work on those soft skills, definitely, if you can.
Yeah. Basically, when we talk about soft skill, what my understanding, Pauli, is basically more important is the attitude part. Like how we, as you rightly said, putting ourselves in the shoes of others, looking sense of helpingness, sense of cooperations, uh, and then probably ready to work as a teams, and little bit of soft communications rather than just very aggressive. I think these are very important. Otherwise, if I don't like you, I don't bother you about what much knowledge and experience you have, right? And therefore, both of us will not get any benefit. So I think first of all, making the relationships through the soft skills is very important. That is what I also realize. Even though, and then my last point is basically soft skill is on top of the hard skills. Without having a hard skills, you don't think that using only soft skill is going to help either to carry out your job or to even to get the job. So what do you think on that?
Yeah, no, this is totally agree with that. And also as well, a little bit of proactivity. I guess that a lot of people, it's like a lot of
Yeah,
people in the productivity and problem solving, especially. So it's a lot of people, what I've seen here in New Zealand, my experience is that, oh, I don't know how to do it. I want to do it. And for me as an Argentinian, is that I Googled how to do it and I want to try to solve it myself as well, because I'm more about bring me solutions than bring me problems. Of course, if it's something big that involves money or financial or something that it needs a manager to intervene, of course, I will leave that to my manager. But if it's something that I can solve by myself, I will try to be productive and then annoying everyone I have until I get my answer how to sort it out. But it's just a little bit of productivity and problem solving mindset that we need. I think that the problem solving mindset is going to something that is going to make you be different than the rest of the people in the room.
yeah,
So that could be another one to have in mind.
yeah. That also part of soft skill. I agree. That is very important, especially the our tech industry, right? Every time we can encounter the problems, and every time we cannot approach to colleagues to solve that, and we become more valuable when we start giving some things to others. Right? It is like a win-to-win situations, even in the team, right? He expects something from me as well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
totally.
I totally agree. Yeah, but what I realize, especially the self-retrospection part, is very important. If you look at the things where you and me are standing today, better we self-retrospects and understand our strength, weaknesses, and work towards that will make us more progress. What is happening, especially of course in my case, we sometimes follow blindly or we sometimes get influenced by some of the happenings around the society, and we think that we let us work. That is a good thing. So good things are many, but are we the right person to do that good things?
Yeah.
So self retrospections and work towards the improvement is the key. What do you think about that?
So I guess that we need to be aware again, what we're good at is the biggest question. What I'm good at, what I'm passionate about. And then to understand that my journey is not going to be the same as yours, because it's going to be, we're different people, different backgrounds, different life story, different a lot of things. So understanding that, I guess the more you put yourself out there, I know it's scary. Again, it's super scary because I'm really scared to be here tonight, by the way. So I'm sharing myself, but I guess the more you put yourself out there, the better, because you can be inspired by others' journey, and I'm sure that every story is inspiring. I believe that every story is inspiring. So any story from your students or anyone that's watching this, I'm pretty sure they can learn a lot about it and stuff like that. But understanding that if it's because it happens to someone, it doesn't mean it's going to happen to me as well. It might happen at some level to get the job opportunity that you're looking for, but your journey is going to be different than my journey. So it is the more you put out there is the more you're going to get back, but it's all on you. I guess no one can do it for you.
Exactly. Totally. So with this note, I think I'll share one of the message who is try to uh, applicable not only for job seeker as a good human beings. One of the saint from India, which is called Swami Vivekananda, he says, to become successful for a person, we need to equally focus in four aspects of human life. One is, of course, professional development, another is personal development, another is social development, and the fourth one is spiritual development. The retrospection part, I think that spiritual part. When we start doing some meditations, praying gods or whatever we believe, and thinking ourselves, probably that will definitely give some opportunity to improve ourselves. So all these four area are like a four wheels of a car. If any one of the wheels get damaged, the car will collapse. So according to that saying, we should focus on the all these four aspects to become a successful uh, in our society.
Yeah, and
Do you like?
I love it. And surround yourself with the right people. That's one more thing that I guess that it is covering in one of those four wheels. Because when you have the right people around you, being a migrant is not easy. You leave your family, friends, everyone behind. You start all over from with nothing, and it's scary. It's not easy, but it's super rewarding if you actually can do it. So I would definitely suggest you to have any job experience overseas, even for a few months or a year or whatever you can do it. Do it. And if you're looking for a job in your own country, always think, okay, how can I prove my boss that I'm the best for this opportunity?
Yeah. So consistently work towards towards making ourselves as a better version. That is what we mean, right? Yeah, I think we have well covered, Polly, and it was very, very insightful because I know you have a lot of experience, and I wish your startup initiative will flourish, and New Zealand will be one of the uh, 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 industry leaders in some of the sectors, especially the dairy sectors and agriculture. New Zealand has done very good jobs, and we look forward that your initiative will make New Zealand a better place to live in. And I am very sure your content will help our job seekers in New Zealand and in abroad. With this note, thank you so much for your valuable time, and I look forward to connect with you again.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you. We'll connect again, Paulie, and I'll try to meet you in offline.